This is Talk is Sheep, the official podcast of the Wild Sheep Society of BC, brought to you by Sitka Gear. Come along as we bring conversations that matter to you into the high alpine. This episode is sponsored by our conservation partner, Precision Optics. Thank you Sitka Gear and Precision Optics for investing in healthy wildlife and sustainable ecosystems. Awesome, ladies. Well, we're here in Blaine Calkin's office. He is the conservative hunting and angling Caucus chair and MP for
Red Deer Lacombe.
Thank you very much. And it's great to have you ladies here. So we're just going to go around the room, and we'll start with you, Chris, as Chief of Staff for Blaine, and just give us a rundown of who you are, what you do, and why you're here today.
Put me on the spot first.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so my name's Chris. As you stated, I'm the Chief of Staff for Blaine Calkins. So I do all of the scheduling, the regular administrative stuff, but I also manage the offices for him. But on top of that, I have the privilege of working in the hunting industry and managing the hunting and angling caucus for him and doing all of the work on that. So any events, any meetings, any issues, I handle that for the Conservative Party itself in that sense. And I get the distinct privilege of working in the industry because of it.
Very cool. We'll go back to that in a bit. Let's talk to Lisa and get an update on who you are, Lisa, where you come from, and what you're all about, please.
Well, thank you, and thanks for having me. So, Lisa Roper from Alberta, and I always tell people I have the best job because I get to hunt and fish and promote it in the outdoors, especially for women and youth. And so that means, putting on courses and doing presentations, outdoor writer, and then more recently hosting and producing my own TV show.
Awesome. Very cool.
Thank you.
Great. And
we're on to me,
Sali?
are we?
Yeah,
yes.
You got no pressure.
No pressure whatsoever. I have to follow these guys already. My name is Sali Cunningham. I am from Nova Scotia, and I am here because I am representing SCI for our chapter presidency. And in my spare time, which is not a whole lot of time, I am an outfitter, and I specialize in black bears.
Awesome.
So
very cool. I've been following you on social for a long time, so very cool.
Oh.
Jen, no stranger to the podcast. We've had you on before, and obviously do a lot of sheep stuff too. So our listeners tend to know who you are, but we'll get the 30-second rundown on who Jen Shears is.
Yeah, like which section of it is the 30 seconds I'm going to go with. But yeah, I'm Jen Shears. I'm from Newfoundland, and I guess, for listeners, probably the sheep world, I'm an avid sheep hunter, and I own a business that specializes in seal products. So sealskin for boots, mitts, hats, coats, you name it. So it kind of gets me linked. That's kind of why I'm here at this event this week. My ties to seal hunting and to hunting and fishing.
Awesome, and we'll jump into that in a little bit. But before we do that, maybe we'll start off, if you don't mind, Chris, and just talk a little bit about what this past week was, or I guess, it was kind of a week for you guys, but really one day for myself, and talk about the Outdoor Symposium and basically, thanks to you and Blaine, Blaine for his leadership and you for all the heavy lifting. We know where all the work was done.
It was more than a week for Chris.
She's still coming down from it.
Yeah. I'll be another couple days before I'm able to breathe again. So the Conservative Hunting and Angling Caucus has done this in the past, where we like to showcase the wonderful food that we can eat from our harvest out in the ocean or in the lakes around Canada, or just on the land. And so we like to introduce people to just the fantastic food that you can experience. And so we've hosted garden parties in the past with various leaders. Last year we hosted one with the Honorable Candace Bergen when she was the interim leader. And so this year, coming into the spring, we were talking about doing another garden party, and we wanted to build on the ones that we had done in the past. And the idea came to get all of our stakeholders and all of our outdoor organizations together and talk about the importance of hunting and fishing to Canada and firearms owners as well, and just what are the issues we're facing, what can we tackle together, and just bring everyone on board and be a united group and a united front moving forward. So that's where the idea kind of came from. So I've been working on this plan since January, and it came came together really, really well, and I was really happy to see so many people from across the country come to Ottawa to meet with the Conservatives and have other meetings as well with other parties. I know that was happening, but to meet with us to discuss and help give us feedback on policies within the party itself. And then we got to enjoy the garden party afterwards, where we had a very large number of our Conservative family there, and they got to experience some fantastic wild game that came from across Canada, coast to coast. So that's hopefully that answers.
Yeah, what an amazing event. And it was interesting when we sat down yesterday at the Outdoor Symposium. It was truly a symposium, so we had presentations from a number of MPs, Blaine leading it, of course, and lots of thoughtful dialogue and sort of the issues that the Conservatives are looking at in government. But then there was a lot of opportunity for feedback from the guests, right? So there was probably 80 people in that room. I think you guys were planning for 75, and I think there was more than you
We might have had more like 100 come through the room at one point throughout the day, so yeah.
And great representation from the Conservative leadership. There was a ton of MPs that came through. So there was a bunch of issues that they talked about yesterday, and I know I'm not going to go into a bunch of them today because there's a bunch of other things I want to talk about, but was there anything that stood out for you, the four of you really, that came to mind that was like, that's a really important issue and something that, resonated? There was a few for me, but I don't know, Lisa, Sally, anything that you guys can think of?
I don't know if it's necessarily an issue, but I think just an overall comment or theme that I really took away from. I mean, there's, like you said, there's lots of issues and lots of things we brought to the table, but at the end of the day, if everyone can just put their issues aside and we all show up at the table together and put in our piece, I mean, that's a pretty great puzzle that we're going to end with. And so that's what I took away from it, was just everybody do our part, and some of these issues are going to start resolving and moving forward, and that's what we're looking for. So
awesome. Yeah, very cool. Sally, anything that comes to mind for you that stood out? I know you're very active with your local SCI chapter and SCI in general, but was there anything yesterday that you were thinking about or made you reflect on a little more?
Honestly, there was just so much information in the room that I spent the entire time just absorbing it all. There is just so many things that baffled me with the whole 30 for 30 and that coming on, and somebody can elaborate on that better than I can, just because I'll get all but it's just, there's so much going on, and we need to make sure that we're in the front of it all, because if we don't, there's going to be so many things that get taken away from us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just absorbing that knowledge and absorbing that information and learning how to turn that around in the public so that they see it the same way we see it, to understand that this is important, that this needs to be done and this needs to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it? Shane Mahoney was and his presentation blew my mind. When your jaw just drops at the intelligence of somebody and you're just like, wow.
And how passionate
That's
he is.
what I took from that. That was probably the hands down most, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, another good Newfoundlander.
Yeah. Newfoundland vibes, I tell you.
Yeah, for me, Shane that was kind of the highlight for me. Like, I've known Shane and what he's been saying for years, and it's kind of how I live my life and how I present myself online too. The idea of positive messaging and trying not to put up fronts, but build a bridge. That's how I live my life, and that's how I try to put myself out there to the world. So that resonated with me, just because I'm like, okay, well, that's what I feel I'm doing. And so if he's saying it's good and his messages are bang on, in my opinion, then I should forge ahead in that direction.
Absolutely.
Yeah, certainly a bit reaffirming. And I think the one thing that Shane stated that you kind of talked about, I think, Sally, was that, things are changing. And the one thing that I really took away from his talk was we need to adapt. That, what we've been doing for the last number of decades isn't really working, and things are changing, and we're not really liking the direction we're going. So we better get on board and find a way to sort of adapt to the way things are, maybe our messaging or whatever it is, because some of the things we really care about are sort of, falling by the wayside. So so there was a little bit of like a come to Jesus moment where you're, oh no, but also after that there's a lot of really helpful and good dialogue. I thought that was really positive that came out of it. So
Yeah, I think especially with things like 30 for 30 and the whole idea that there's so much room for how those things can be implemented as the United States are doing versus how it seems it's going to be rolling out in Canada. And the right people need to be at the international table when these conventions are being adopted, ratified, so that we know what we're signing on for. There's agreement among parties and among Canadians, and that we can figure out how to implement it in a way that's beneficial to not only us, but to our landscapes, to our wildlife.
And future generations. I mean, that's
Exactly.
what this is really all about, right?
Mm.
I mean, and that, I'm going to go back to what I said about, everybody showing up. And it's not just for us. It's not just for our wildlife, but it's for everyone coming behind us, right? And I think that that's pretty key.
Well said. Okay, so obviously this is a great event. I'm going to talk to Blaine afterwards, so we're going to do a deep dive into these issues. And I know, you in particular, Jen, you testified about the seal hunt, and so we could do a deep dive into all these issues today. But that's kind of not why I wanted to talk to you guys, and maybe we should. But the cool thing is I noticed that, Jen, that you were coming out this event. Again, I follow you on social, Sally, and that there was like this energy about you guys meeting and about. and then Chris reached out. It was like it was unleashed this storm, right, in a very cool way. So obviously you guys have a connection. You ladies have a connection, and I think it's being female empowered in the outdoors. So I don't know who wants to jump on that first, but I'd sort of like to do a deep dive into, I guess, your connection, through the outdoor and hunting space and fishing and sort of what's manifested that, and then talk about some of the things that, that's something that as a society we think about a lot is promoting youth and outdoors and women in the outdoors. It's really important to us to get more inclusivity, and you guys are obviously the hallmark of that. So who wants to jump in first? Who's keen to go?
I can start if you want.
Let's do it.
So I guess the first of these three ladies that I met was Lisa back in 2019. Blaine introduced us, and we've become fast friends ever since, and we talk quite a bit, and we've been able to do some fishing and some hunting in Alberta together, which was amazing. And it was just such a relief to get to know someone on another female hunter on that level, to be able to commiserate together at times and just support each other as well, like if you're having a rough time. And so Sally and Jen, I've connected with both of them as well through my work here, but we in conversations we became really, really fast friends. And Sally and I've had some fun times together too, and some really, really good laughs over the last year, and including during a recent hunt, I may have had a little bit of a, oh no, did I make a mistake moment. And
I have to interject here just a little bit. So, where I outfit and I specialize in black bears, Chris was on a black bear hunt, and going back to the whole, the wild game party, one of the dishes was actually Chris's bear. But when she shot her bear, I got a phone call going, oh my God, it's like, I got it, I think, wait, did I? I know it, I'm sure, I think there's blood. No, there's not. And right away, it didn't go into it became a thing where I'm like, okay, you're fine, you got this, it's great. What did it look like? Where did it go? How far did you track? She's like, oh, I had to call somebody. You were the person I thought to call. Okay. But that probably had to be one of my funniest moments recently with you and I. It was just like, you were like, oh my God. Yeah. And it's just the encouragement of, yes, you know what? You got this. You're fine. You know what you're doing. I have faith in you. Yes, you're there. And so that was just like, and we talk about uplifting and empowering and everything. And so, 100%.
Well, my first phone call wasn't to my own family. It was to
And I love you for that.
But yeah, and Jen, this is the first real opportunity that we've had to spend a lot of time together. But, just what was most important to me when everyone was coming in was getting us together and sitting down, just the four of us, and having that girl time to talk about any of the issues, or do you face the same thing that I do, and just kind of build each other up. And it was really exciting coming into this week, having all of you in my neck of the woods, and just being able to connect on those issues and just be supportive. And I have lifelong friends, and I'm really, really looking forward to next year when we all get together and do something.
Next year,
we gotta figure it out. Okay, next month. We have to figure that out. But it's been an amazing, uplifting week for me, and they've also all jumped in to help me out with my craziness of organizing the symposium and the wild game garden party. They were all there to help out and just run and do any setup that I needed some help with, which has been amazing. So
Absolutely.
So how are we doing in the outdoors? So, you guys are all doing great. Nobody could argue otherwise. You guys are all very established as in the hunting community and outdoor space. But for somebody that's interested, a young lady or a lady, age really doesn't matter, I guess, but is it much easier? Are we doing a good job? Is there a lot more work that needs to be done, or where are we sitting with that?
Oh God, yeah.
We talk lots about it, but have we done enough?
Yeah. We haven't done enough.
No, you're scratching the surface.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, God, you look at our population. There's more women than men in the world, by marginal, but there is. And yet, every day, every gun you see is always longer. There's very little for the women's guns. Women's clothing for hunting, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Angling, nothing. They have a small percentage that say that it's women's, but it's not really catered to women. So that's something that we face in industry because nobody's taking us seriously yet. And we talk about having empowerment and lifting and everything else. Like, we need to do better.
Yep.
And we need to, like, I don't even know how to explain where I'm going with this. It's just like there's not enough being done in the industry to make sure that there is a future for both sexes to continue on with it.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, like I think they say, all the great words and phrases are out there that, we need more women in the industry and we're here for you and we're lifting you up. But what does that really look like, right? Because, there is still obviously a minority of us, but there's a reason for that too. I often use an analogy that, people will say, oh, you're breaking through the glass ceiling. Yeah, but then the glass ceiling actually falls and I'm the one sweeping it up because where's the entourage behind you, the supporting and whether that's or combinations of financial support to try and get more programs maybe or just do more things in the outdoors. And so, yeah, I think we still have the words are great and at least there's conversation on the table and we're starting to talk really quite a bit about it, but I'd like to see a little more action in that area.
So there's different programs out there. There's Women Hunt, She Hunts. What is SCI's program?
She Hunts is in Texas as well. Yeah.
So there's programs out there. So what I'm hearing is that's not enough. We need is it government action? Does government need to do a better job of promoting inclusivity? Is it the males in the industry that are part of the problem? Is it?
I don't think it's government per se that is lacking the encouragement. I kind of, and I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but I feel like it's the industry itself, kind of how they're, and not naming names for anything, some industries, let's say fishing, are sexualizing women in order to sell their product, and the women who are genuine that just want to do it to feed their families or wanted to do it to just be closer to nature, and it's very calming to go fishing and it's very it puts you in a zen state. It's amazing. These companies are, I feel like, might be having a negative impact in those women that see these bikini-clad girls and that's their ad for that. Or, yes, okay, 35-degree weather, sure. You're in a tank top, you're in a bikini, that's fine. But when you're out hunting, I'm not going through the bush, and we talked about this and we had a giggle. Who goes out into the woods to check a trail camera in, I'll say it, booty shorts and flip-flops to, you know what I mean? So I think the perception of how certain industries or certain brands are portraying us might actually have a negative effect on the and I'll air quote, real women who want to do it for the right reasons and not just for that social media pull, for the likes, I guess.
So what do we say to sort of the women then that are those women that are the ones in the booty shorts, that they're maybe not much of a hunter? I'm not saying they're not hunters, but it's more about the gram and it's all about the, sexualizing it as opposed to telling the story of the hunt, because there's a little bit of that goes on too, I think, right? Like,
sure. And I don't even know that we really have to say anything. I mean, sure, we'd love to say stuff to that type of a profile, if you will. But at the end of the day, the responsibility still goes back to the sponsor or to, the people that are endorsing this. I mean, we work so hard to hold ourselves in such high standards, right? Not showing things we shouldn't be, and really classy and respectful and doing it all right. And then you have one or two out there that are doing the opposite, and it's like they tear down the hard work that we put in to continue to be doing the right thing and showing young girls, like, you don't have to act or look like that. Be you, be beautiful, and hunt and fish and love life. Like, it's tough. It's
And
tough.
that's ultimately why I got so involved, and Weatherby reached out to me and was talking to me about doing a lot of social media and attending events and coming on board with their team. And really, it's, to me, yeah, sure, I'm pushing stuff out on social media and trying to promote women in the outdoors, but it's about giving my 7-year-old niece a positive female role model in the industry that doesn't have to, be sexualized in that sense. And, it doesn't matter what we end up wearing in the end. It's about our love of the outdoors and our support for each other, and just giving that option for girls to look up to, and someone that they can feel that they see themselves in. Because there are women out there that I think would want to get involved, and they just don't. Maybe some women, they don't see themselves feeling that beautiful or that. Whereas if we try to keep it as real as we can, and I think they can identify with that a lot better.
I find there's a fine line there, though, at the same time,
Yes.
because like if I'm on a 2-week-long sheep hunt and my pack is 60 pounds, 65 pounds, might I have a little tube of mascara that weighs a couple ounces of my pack? Yeah. Do I have a little bit of cream that has some foundation in it? Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm. But it's not about other people. It's about me and feeling like that's me. And that's
We're
me,
still female,
whether
we're
I'm in the
still
mountains
feminine.
or whether I'm
Yep.
at the mall, I still want it to be me. And so when I do see people who are kind of flaunting everything, if that's what they need and want to make themselves feel good, fine. But it's when that gets associated with the activity that they're at instead of just themselves. That's where I'm kind of like, dang, yeah, it makes it hard for the rest of us to be taken seriously, and for people looking for role models to really feel confident in who they're
We're
doing
not
that.
looking to take away the feminine aspect of it whatsoever. I mean,
No.
truth be told, I've got tattooed eyebrows on, I've got eyeliner, and I did that so when I get out of the bush, I still look presentable. I said it, I'm on, yep. And I mean, like, we have nails and lashes
my
and
hair.
everything else, but that doesn't mean that we can't get a little blood under our nails from here to there.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. Okay, let's talk a little bit now about inclusivity and about barriers to entry, and I guess maybe some of the challenges that you guys have faced. So you guys every day are breaking down these barriers and these walls and making it easier for a woman to get into the hunt space. But can you talk a little bit some of the challenges that you've seen that maybe aren't quite as big as they were, and how much is it easier now for a person that wants a lady that wants to go out hunting? Can she get involved? I just think I go to these meetings and this was awesome. Like, Blaine hosted this, the Conservative Party hosted it, I'll be honest, and it was very diverse, and there was a lot of women. It was amazing. I loved it. I go to some of these meetings and it's like exclusively men, and I just thought, if I was a woman coming in here and want to be part of this, I'd feel like, or if there was 40 women and I walked into that room, I'd be like, I'd feel a little uncomfortable too, right? So, and especially if I was going to try a brand new thing that they were good at and I don't know anything about. So maybe let's just touch a little bit on that if somebody wants to jump in that. And I know there's like 5 questions in there, so you can take any one of those, but they're all really kind of wrapped up into one.
It can be intimidating for a new woman in hunting that wants to get into it, that maybe doesn't have any background and has no support outside of that. But I think, I mean, for me personally, being a female guide, I feel like I can almost offer reassurances to another woman coming with me that may not have been, you know, they're nervous because it's a man. And I think that there needs to be more of us out there. So if you're hiding in the rural area somewhere and you know what you're doing and your dad taught you how to hunt, or your mother or your grandmother taught you how to hunt, and you have a passion for continuing it on, get involved, become like a mentor, become, you know, somebody that can be reached out to in order to be like, hey, let's continue this, because we will do better if we support each other as opposed to doing it individually. So
100%. And I think that message needs to, you know, to be out there more, is really encouraging other women to come out. You know, like there are quite a few women hunters, maybe just not involved, but like getting that message to say, hey, come on out, get involved, make a difference, be a mentor. I mean, so many women are kind of afraid of those types of things because it hasn't, right? Everyone says it's been a male dominant world, or industry, sorry. And, you know, the old boys club in quotations as we say it. But there's so much that women can do and be a part of, and you don't have to be some big influencer. You can be the person right next door and taking out, you know, your neighbor's child or whatever. So I like that, you know, get involved.
That's what I make a point every year, to take someone new, a new woman or a new girl hunting, even if it's just like I do all of the work at the bait for my bear and then they just come up and sit in the stand with me. Yep. To me, that's getting someone out hunting. And I think it's important to get women involved at the real like grassroots levels, like whether it's becoming an outdoors women program, having women leaders, having women who offer the firearms safety courses or the hunter capability courses, hunter education, having them as instructors who can put it out there and say, I'm offering maybe an all women's course. Things like that really, really help get the women involved early on. So like a woman can't get her license unless she takes this course. So how powerful is it if she takes the course from another female? Yeah. That's where it's important to get in there early, I think.
Absolutely. And I noticed that, so I host an all ladies ice fishing event, right? But the key to that event was having all female volunteers. And the first year we had 50 ladies on the ice. This past year we had 100. And it was absolutely amazing to see. And I believe the success of it has to do with having female volunteers. Mm-hmm. People showing up, the camaraderie. I mean, I hear of the conversations that go on long after the event is over. And I mean, that's the safe place, right? And a lot of these women, like when we start, you know, I usually talk about what are your fears, because I can't be successful for you if I don't know your fears, right? Driving on the ice, catching a fish, whatever. And, you know, some of the women there, their husbands are avid anglers, avid hunters, but they don't want to, and I'm not, you know, dishing the husband or anything, but they just don't want to learn. They just want to learn from a female driven environment. And I think that the more we can do by providing those types of courses and programs, the more success we're going to see in the industry.
I've been to a number of ladies' range days, and it's remarkable to see how excited they get because the pressure's off. Mm-hmm. They don't feel like they have to put on a show. They can just go and actually enjoy themselves, and they're learning from other women, and they're able to you know, just connect that way and not feel nervous about being judged. And I think that's the key. Is I think a lot of women are afraid of being judged, or they're afraid of, you know, that sort of thing, and that's maybe a barrier. And having women like you on the Outdoors channel, like Lisa, it's remarkable watching you and your show, because it's showing women and your passion and your love of the outdoors. And I think a lot of women look up to that, and they can see themselves in you because they can see how real you are. But watching you just do all that you do, I think really paves the way for them to to get out and want to do it themselves and to learn how to fish and how to hunt. So
Thank you, Chris.
Kudos to
That
you.
means so much. I really did. I'm gonna cry. What is happening here? I'm usually a little tougher than this. But no, I truly, that means so much. And I just want to say, when I received the phone calls from the station to host my own show, as soon as I got off the call, I actually sat down and just wrote down my goals right there, right? Because I don't want to lose focus as to why I'm doing it. And the very first one was to inspire. It's an avenue. It's a road to inspire more women, right? And I wanted my show to be very different, where it's telling a story where, thank you. That meant so much, because that's exactly what I wrote down, is that women will sit on their couch or wherever, and watch and just be like, I want to do that. She can do that. She's an average girl. She's just a girl who loves to hunt and fish. So I want to be that. Let's go. And literally, that's on my website. That's my little thing, is let's go. Let's do this.
That's your mission
and
statement.
Just start, right? Just people say, well, how do I start fishing? Go grab a rod and put a hook on it and throw it out in the water. Literally, start somewhere and just see yourself grow. So thank you.
I think we all secretly girl crushed on each other before we even formally
Yes.
met.
Yes, exactly.
And I'll be the first to admit it, and I'll use you, Jen, as an example, is when you posted that about the seal hunt and your presentation in Parliament. What was the first thing that I said to you? I didn't even really know you person to person yet, and I remember saying it. I'm like, I am so effing proud of you right now, and I was in tears because I was just so overwhelmed that you called it out. You were real, and it was just something to see another woman in such a positive light. You know what I mean? And see, I'm doing it too.
I know. What is going on? That's awesome.
But it is something to be said too about maybe how things are shifting, and in the Conservative Party, so what Sally's referring to is at the committee, at the testimony, I basically told the MPs that they're spineless jellyfish and they need to grow a backbone on the sealing issue. So I'm thinking, I'm never going to be welcomed back in here again. They're going to be like, get back to Newfoundland and, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Right away, Blaine, I think, got in touch with Chris and was like, yeah, get Jen to come back to this hunting and fishing symposium that we're having. So
We need her there.
it's a testament to them being open to hearing people's truths, women's truths.
But it's also a testament, and to all of you here, part of the reason why we make such a difference is you're real. The reason you were real and honest, and you know what, you took a risk because you knew that deep down inside, it's who you stand for and what you are, right? Same with you, Sally, and Chris, that's what this is about. That's the difference between just kind of sitting back and saying, okay, well, we'll see what those programs are doing, or we're proactive or reactive. Who do you want to be? Right? And I think the women sitting here, we're very, very proactive. Let's get in there, let's dig it, make a difference.
Very cool. So you guys are all proactive, and it's very clear because you're doing a lot of really good stuff in the industry. But that said, not everyone's like that, and that's some of the challenges we've talked about. Now, Sally, I know you got to go, and you've been very kind to. I know you got another meeting that you're cutting.
Yeah, but this one's way more fun.
So I'm gonna get this from you, and then if you have to take off, cool, or you're welcome to stay. I'd love to have you. But the one thing I was wondering is that if you could change one thing in the industry just to make it better for women, and you talked about a bunch of great ideas and great concepts, but if you could. And I kind of want each one of your opinions, and maybe they're all the same or maybe they're all different, but I'd really like to know if you could break down a barrier, or if we could do something different or have a program, but if there was kind of, what's the one thing that you look now and you guys have done it, you guys have broke that barrier down, you are women in the outdoors, women hunting, women in angling, but what can we do? What's the most important thing? And maybe Sally.
Way to put me on the spot with pressure. You know what? In a nutshell, change how you think. Because I'm sorry, and not to toot my own horn because I'm just me, I can do exactly what any man out there can do. I'm hauling 50-pound bags of bait. I'm breaking bush. I'm out there doing the stuff that sucks leading up to the hunt. Yeah, it happens. It's, we are fully capable of doing every single aspect and component of the hunt that men are. And I think the view needs to change and stop looking at us as second class to you. No offense, not you in general, but you know what I'm saying. It's like we are fully capable, and women need to know that they are also fully capable. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I would have jumped in on. So, Carl, it's very gracious of you to say, like, we've established ourselves and we can do it. But I think when people look at a post, for example, or look at my story or a show that I may have put out, instead of saying, like, look at what she did right and well, they immediately go to, well, how did she screw up? Who was behind the scenes? Who helped her lug that? Right? Who helped her get this to be? Even when I got my solo moose last fall, which was like the craziest, like I've done a lot of crazy things, I guess, but and going in there in the woods of Newfoundland overnight and calling in the bull moose, getting it down, preparing it, getting it broken down by myself well into the night. And I get back, and even in my community, it's like, oh, she didn't do that. And it's like, come on, guys, like, just give me some credit. Mm-hmm. Whether you know, you owe it to me or not, don't just say I didn't do it because you think I'm a woman and I can't do it. Like,
I'll elaborate on that just a touch, though, because it's not only that, and having each other empower it, having a great partner, and I'll do a shout out to my own because he's always been 100% supportive of me. Him defending me in a filled room, saying, yeah, I didn't do that. That was her. Like, yeah, no, that wasn't me doing that. She did it all on her own. It's coming to my defense and pointing out that, yeah, I'm not doing this for her. She's doing it. So having support at home and from your partner, from your spouse, is a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. So. Carrie's the same way. Like, he's the one known, even though I've been hunting my entire life with my family, he's a great hunter. He's an incredible guide. And for him to say the exact same thing, like, yeah, no, she really did do that. Like, it was not me at all. And she's taught me a lot of things, just as he's taught me a lot, means a lot. It goes a long way.
Yeah, Shani taught me everything I know. And even, I mean, his father did as well, because I didn't come from a hunting background whatsoever. So the support starts at home. And yeah, but I hate to say it, like, I'm going to get in trouble for
Thank you so much for being here, Sally. I really appreciate it. The one thing that I found interesting is that when I was young, I grew up in a hunting family, and we'd see by most of the time, men were involved, like, in the boys, right? They'd take the sons out and the daughters wouldn't go. And I never understood if there was not the interest there. But I look at my sister, she's pretty tomboyish, like, she can do anything I can do, but she never really hunted. And I think if that would have been fostered in her, she may have, it wasn't like my dad never said you couldn't do it, but I think it's really inspiring, and I see a lot of young kids, young women being taken out by their fathers and stuff, and I think it's pretty cool. It used to see it was mostly just the boys, the kids, and now it's a lot more women, so it's pretty cool to see that, for sure.
That's what happens when your dad has two girls. That's what happened to me and my sister. Maybe it would have been different if I had a brother. Thankfully I didn't, I guess.
That was kind of my story, though. I had an older brother and myself, and then my younger brother's quite a bit younger. But, I'd hear, like, the excitement, and I still remember that, the energy in the room, because, hey, there's a hunt, they're going on a hunt or a fishing trip. And so I would just go get in the truck, right? Because I wasn't invited at first, like, when I was, like, young, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. And then I don't remember exactly when. I know I was, like, grade 1-ish. My dad realized I was not getting out of the truck, right? And so then he just kind of started to embrace it. And, from that perspective, though, too, he took a lot of slack. So let's talk about that for a second, right? Because back then, it wasn't, like, women weren't in the outdoors. And so I was really one of the only kids on the trips. And I remember hearing, my dad's friends, kind of quacking him, if you will, like, oh, why is she here? And, like, she shouldn't be here, and da-da-da. So imagine, some of the stuff he had to take on, too. And still to realize that, no, it's in her, and I need to honor her and continue to take me and build, and it's beautiful. And so just on a side note with that, to the dads that are listening, and because I get asked this so much, is just be consistent. Just keep showing up for her and take her out. And it doesn't matter if she's not ready to hunt or shoot or whatever, but she's going with you and she's learning and she's growing with you and she loves you. And one day it's going to turn. And one day she's going to then suddenly want to hunt. And it'll be on her timeline, but just be consistent because it'll happen.
One of the cool things that happened to me last fall after my hunt with Lisa is I came home and I went hunting with my family, and we were hunting a new property and learning a lot about it. But that last fall, our camp ended up getting 6 deer total, all shot by women.
Oh, wow.
Not a single man was able to connect with a deer at that camp, and of course it was all family and they took a little bit of ribbing for it, but it was awesome, and everyone was super supportive, and they were loving the jokes and everything that came after that. Now, I mean, there's pressure on us this year to make sure that we can get some deer, but that was just really neat for me to be able to be part of that, and just power to the women in our camp, and the fact that there is multiple women that hunt with us is pretty awesome too. So
I hear that a lot about women, like when people are undergoing instruction, and I know, Lisa, you teach a lot and stuff too, but the women are much quicker learners than men, and they're generally better at it than men. And I had a little bit of first-hand experience with that. There was a Mission Ron Gun Club that had a range day for women. Women Want to Shoot, I think is what they called it. It was amazing. There was like 80 women showed up, full day of shooting, and I was working pistol. And I like with my kids. Now, granted, they were kids. Just like it just was so tough trying to get them to shoot. And they got, they progressed, but there was some women that came in there and they're like, you hand them the rifle and they're just like, it's just so foreign to them. They just have no idea even how to hold it, right? And like within 5 minutes, they're like, plink, 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 like just, I'm like, oh my goodness, like just incredible. So,
when I was in Wyoming at Gunworks Long Range University back in 2019, you could see some of the men went there and their women tagged along, their wives or girlfriends tagged along, and so these guys who had dabbled, or actually not dabbled, they had hunted all their lives, they had shot all their lives, and the women hadn't. There's a bit of an ego there when it comes to, well, what I've seen in situations like that. The men have, like, they know it all, and I'm thinking, well, if you know it all, why are you at long range school? why did you come here? But the women, like you say, were kind of like, they don't want to make a wrong move. They might be a little bit tentative and maybe even a bit afraid, but at the start, like that's okay. It's always good to be a little bit afraid of a powerful weapon, I think. But they were very calculated in their maneuvers, very attentive to the instruction, and followed it step by step. It's probably because we're so used to throwing out instructions all the time that never get listened to, and we're like, damn it, someone's teaching me, I'm gonna listen. But yeah, the ego bit isn't usually there as much with women as with men, and I think sometimes ego makes things not sit in the brain as it's passing through the ears. It just goes on by.
Yeah, cool.
Sorry, men.
There'll be some hate mail.
Yeah.
That's funny. So, anything that you guys want to add with regards to the one kind of the one thing that you see that we could do better or make things better for inclusivity in our space before we kind of move on? Is there anything else that we haven't sort of touched there that Sally and Jen had already spoke on, or we kind of covered that?
No, I agree with both Sally and Jen. Like those are some very important kind of things to focus on, but it's hard to come up with
one
more.
Thing, right? Well, there's a lot of things you need to do, right?
Yeah.
And I think the one thing that we are doing is now it's front of mind and we're being pretty consistent. But I was looking back, I was curious about numbers and stuff, and like the women in outdoors is growing. But there's some ancient cultures that they figured like 50% or more of the women were they did the majority of the hunting, and we're so far from that, right? So there's a lot of growth, and to the point, I'm not sure if it was Sally or Lisa brought it up about industry, right? Like industry getting on board, and it's like it's a pretty small market now, probably, and it all comes down to money. We know it, right? That's probably why they're not doing it, but it'd be great to see that growth for the industry, and certainly. If there's how many hunters are there in in Canada? Does anyone know? It's like 1.5 million.
I was going to say under 2 anyway.
So if we can get 85% growth in women, get half and half. Now we're up to 3 million people that are voting for the things that we love, right? So it's certainly important, and I just don't want to see any of you in my tree stand.
one thing that
we'll all show up together.
You'll be out together at the front. Yeah. No, if anyone's ever like holding events or meetings, it is always nice to say, is a woman going to be at the table, or is there going to be an equal number of women at the table at least, and try to make that happen, because that's how things can change.
That's one thing I thought was really positive about the meetings yesterday. There was really, really diverse representation. That was really encouraging to see. So it's we need to do more of that. Okay, I got one issue I want to ask you about, and that's, why is it so emotive when you see a woman hunter kill a trophy animal? And people just lose their mind, but a guy can do that. Nobody really, people still hate it, but like a woman does it, and people go ballistic. I don't understand and like death threat type stuff. You probably deal with this more than anyone, Jen, but
yeah, I've had my share of it.
I don't understand that.
Well, we're supposed to be the nurturing ones. We're supposed to be the ones that save and protect and heal. We're not supposed to be the ones to take life. I think that's what it boils down to. I think it's just cultural stereotypes that are ingrained, and also, when women get attacked, it's a lot easier to go for the proverbial jugular in terms of attacking their appearance and their status as a woman or as a mother or as a compassionate being that we're supposed to be. I just think it makes us an easier target for those baseline reasons. I don't know. What about you, ladies?
Oh, I 100% agree. Like, you nailed it. There's really nothing more to say on that, and I've felt that for a long time. Is that we are, the mother figure, bear children, So how are we out there taking the life of an animal, and it's unfortunate, but we do, and we love it.
You both of you nailed that. It definitely, from my perspective on this side in the political sphere, that's what I'm seeing is that exact thing. Women are supposed to be with the children, they're the nurturers, and it's, how dare you take the life of some cute animal. And
but the really cool part is we get to be the full circle.
Yes.
Right? We get to still do that, be the moms and raise the children and so on. But now we're also we're hunting and we're fishing and providing food for our family. And it's just such a beautiful full circle. And to be a part of that, I'm absolutely proud. Like, so proud to know that I've done that. I've done this for my family too, the food side of it.
And when you're preparing the food,
100%.
My hockey team loves it because, well, hopefully they love it and they're just not putting it on. But they, well, quite often after harvest, I'll bring some meat home, I'll throw it in the freezer, and then have them all over for a night where I cook for them, and they get to try the different meats. And I think a lot of them had their minds kind of a little set that, they think it's going to taste one way or another. And then they try it and they say, wow, this is actually really good. And how can I have more of this? And I even had one of my teammates ask me if she could buy some meat from me. And I was like, no. Like, I'll just give it to you. It's okay. I'm happy to share. So it's always, I love that aspect of it, is sharing my harvest with my friends and my family. Yeah. And, my bear hunt this spring, the meat, we used it for the event last night for the garden party, and I was so excited to have so many people be able to enjoy those bear sliders. They were fantastic.
They were so good.
They were fantastic. Andrew did. I was going to say, Andrew. He did a phenomenal job. And but what was fun about it was, I think it was a week ago, I was taking the hide to my cousin who's gotten into taxidermy, and he's going to do up the mount for me. And I asked one of my teammates to come along for the ride and keep me company because it's a couple hours away. And she asked me so many questions about hunting that, we've been really good friends for years, but we've never gotten into all of this, the after and why I do what I do. and she learned so much. And we were out at Dwight James's place out in Lanark County, and she got to see his vast display of taxidermied animals, and hear some of the hunting stories and the conservation stories that he's experienced through all of that. And it really opened her eyes to everything. And she was asking my cousin about how do you do taxidermy? And she didn't want to see my bear at first, but at the end of the day, she ended up touching it and feeling how soft the fur is. So it really opened her eyes. And as we were driving back to Ottawa, she asked me how she can get involved. How can she get a license? What does it take to do it? Can she come along on a hunt with me? So of course I'm going to be taking her out at some point, but it's fun for me to be able to share my passions with people, and
it's taking the time to do it,
Yeah.
and to involve them, and to lead the way.
And to go a little bit further, like, I don't know about you girls, but I think one of the number one questions I get asked is, how do I get my, and I'm just filling in blanks, but sister, daughter, wife, girlfriend involved, right? It's men coming. And I want to say, like, we kind of, maybe said some things about guys, but I just want to say too that one of the first things I always say is every province we do have quite a few amazing programs for women, right? We need more, yes, and we need to continue to grow it, but we do have some. And so the first thing I always say is get involved, right, with your local hunting and fishing organization, or go to a course, become an Outdoors Women's type course. And I just want to say a little bit of a shout out on a positive side to men is that women we just learn so differently, and men are amazing, but what seems to happen, or what we seem to see, is like, you go to teach your spouse or whatever how to shoot a gun, and then you're like, oh no, here, just give me this and I'll show it to you, right? And it's because that's just how you are. You're very hands-on, and you want to do it and show it, and it's like this. Whereas women, we just teach very differently and a very different perspective, and I just think that's why it is so much easier. So huge shout out to all the men out there, so on a positive, who are doing an amazing job, who are showing up for us, because there are, and I know they're going to continue, and it's going to keep snowballing. And to the men out there that are showing up for their daughters and their sisters and their wives and everything, huge, great, keep going, but don't be offended or insulted if the female wants to learn from another female. It's just we learn differently, and there's just things like a rifle, right? We need, we have longer necks, we have shorter arms. I mean, there's all of
a female instructor might bring her own gear, so the length of pull,
yes,
it will be different for most women compared to men. So if we're
Absolutely.
bringing our equipment, it's exactly what you were saying, 100%. Lisa.
And there's some things that men maybe don't even understand. Like, we have more nerve endings even in, like, kind of the cup of your shoulder where you're going to put your gun, right? Those are just little things that as a woman to teach another woman is just easier. And so shout out to the men that are doing a great job. Keep going and keep supporting us, because we love what we do. And
stop being dicks.
Glad you said it.
Well, you got him. How can you really get away from it?
That was perfect.
Awesome. Okay, before we wrap up here, let's, for anyone that's listening that maybe is a female that wants to get involved, or is a guy that wants to get their significant other, their daughter, their sister involved. I know you guys are very accessible on social media and that sort of stuff. What should they do? Can they reach out to you guys for resources, or what resource would you direct them to? Let's start with you, Jen, on where to send people.
Absolutely. People reach out to me all the time, unsolicited, usually really bad messages. So when I get a scattered good one, I really welcome it. So yeah, reach out. On Instagram, I'm Smidgen, so SMIDJEN, and my blog is jenshears.com. And I'm just looking up Sally's just to make sure I can get a plug in for her. So if you want to go ahead,
Sure.
Lisa.
Same thing. I absolutely love when people reach out and ask questions, want help. I can provide some right then and there, or provide a link. I mean, whatever. I'm 100% available. So Instagram, Facebook, and my website, Lisa Roper Outdoors. And then, if you have a chance and you want to watch a show and pick up a tip or two, then Lisa Roper Outdoors on Sportsman Channel.
Awesome. Very cool.
By all means. I love hearing from women, and I want to definitely help out. I'm part of some Facebook groups on Facebook where women are talking about and trying to connect with each other, which is awesome. So I've seen a lot there, but definitely reach out to me on Instagram. It's ChrisRenee88. And I'll try to do my best to connect with other people, or if there's another resource that I can point people to, then I definitely would do that. So,
How about for anyone out there that wants to sort of do more in the around policy, legislation, government? What could they do? I know Blaine is a big advocate for women in this outdoor space, and of course, chairing the caucus as well. Clearly, that's his mandate. But what would you sort of suggest there in terms of somebody that wants to maybe federally do more, or maybe somebody maybe local chapters like, oh, we need more policy or legislation. Do they reach out to the office, or what's the best bet? Do they go to their local MP? Do they talk to the Conservative Party? What's sort of the best approach on that?
well, just becoming vocal and reaching out to your local MP is definitely the best way to go to start change. But if you're in a riding that doesn't have a Conservative MP, but you want to get involved on the Conservative ground and help get more Conservatives to be up here to fight for these things, you can definitely reach out to you can go to the Conservative Party website and find your local EDA chapter and be able to reach out and just volunteer. And anyone can reach out to me directly, and I'll help connect in that sense too. But the biggest thing is just getting involved, and it doesn't even have to be Conservative. If you see your politics different too, talking to them. There is NDP members out there who are supportive of hunting. I know that there's some Liberal members out there that are supportive of hunting. Talking to them and getting them to put pressure on their own parties to become more vocal and advocate for them, then that's really key, because the more pressure and the more they hear from their constituents, the more they're able to relay that up here. Yes, Conservatives will always have the back of the hunting and outdoors industry, and right now we're in a minority parliament, so we need those other parties to understand and to see. So we reach out, talk to people.
Cool, awesome, great, thank you, Chris. And how about Sally?
Yeah, so Sally, her Instagram is Sally Cunningham, and Sally's spelled Sali. And her outfit is Ursa Major Outfitters, so they're on Instagram as well.
Awesome. Well, ladies, thank you so much for your time today. It was this is the fun for all of my previous guests. I apologize. This has been the funnest podcast. I think funnest is a word.
Yeah, it is now. It is. Yeah.
So thank you so much, and just thank you for your leadership in the space. It's much needed, and it's just fun to watch, and I just love how it's changing. It's actually, ironically, it's my wife who's been part of this my whole life. We've been together for 25 years, and she's now just doing her license and everything. She's gotten into it, so it's just, I think just over time she just sort of seen the benefits and understood it more, and now she's passionate about it too. So
that's amazing.
Yeah,
well, thank you for holding space for us and taking time for us. Yeah, it's great to see you in person, not on a screen.
Yeah. Well, it's always so nice to do these together, right? So, and I think we should try and jump on one and do one and talk about the seal hunt.
Yeah,
I think
sounds
that
good.
there's so much there to unpack, and I was going to talk about individual issues today, but it's just, you can only do so much. So we had enough to cover today. So thank you again so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.